All right, guys, today we're going to be making a monster. So, I have this little packet that you're going to use when making your monster today. This first page shows you how to draw your monster step by step by step. But I don't want you to think that you have to draw your monster the same way as this paper. If you turn the page, there's how to draw lots of different kinds of monsters. So this one gives you different ideas for the tops of your head. This one gives you different eyes ideas, different mouth ideas. And if you turn the page, there's even more. More heads, more eyes, more mouths. Okay? So, if we go back to the first page, it says to draw the top of your head first. It says to draw a curved line. Now, not all of them are curved lines. You can see this one's kind of like a wavy, curvy line. And this one has some spiky hair sticking up, right? So, but what you need to do at the top of your paper is make that shape for the top of your head, whether it's a curve or it has like some waves to it for some spikes or some hair, okay? I'm gonna start with just a round kind of rainbow line. And you're gonna do this with a black marker, okay? Use your black marker for this. Then you get to add any other details you'd like. You can add little antennas, little horns, little hair, little ears, right? I think I like maybe this one with the little spiky hair with some straight lines. Now remember, we're using our black marker. Making sure to do my very best drawing. Now, the next step is to draw eyes. So, you can see there's lots of different eyes ideas. Here's some here, but you can turn the page and there's even more. Trying to think, which ones do I want to do? I kind of like these ones. So I'm going to make 2 ovals. Now, just because these are the ones I'm doing does not mean that you have to do the same ones. Okay? And he has some eyelids, so I'm going to draw some straight lines for his eyelids. And the pupils of his eyes. And I like to add little highlights before I color it in. He's looking cute. Okay, so now it gives me some mouth ideas. There's some here, and here's some different ones here. These ones are kind of like, have some kitty cat noses. So you can decide also, are you gonna add a nose or are you not gonna add a nose? I kind of like this mouth. So I'm gonna start with that. I like the little teeth. Now also, don't feel like you have to draw something that's in the packet. If you've come up with your own ideas for your mouth or your eyeballs or your hair, you can draw that. Do not feel like you have to draw something from our packet. That's just to give you ideas. All right, so I've drawn his eyes, I've drawn his nose, I've drawn his mouth. I'm kind of thinking maybe just for fun, I'll give him some like eyebrows, maybe some fluffy eyebrows. See, now I'm just adding my own details because I wanted to. You can do that as well if you'd like. I think he's looking really cute. So that's as much as you're going to do with your black marker. Then we're going to talk about textures. Textures, my friends, is how something feels. So my sweater today is soft. The table is smooth and hard, right? A rock might be rough or bumpy. So textures is how something feels. Today, we're going to be talking about implied textures. Implied textures means that you draw a design that makes it look like your paper could have texture. Like if you touched it, would it really be bumpy? Or is that just how you drew it? So implied textures means it looks like it has that texture, right? So on this paper, it gives you lots of ideas for different textures. There are little line designs that you can draw on your monster to give him a little more detail, but also that texture. Now, these are lots of different ideas, but you do not have to do one of these. You can come up with your own. So what you're going to do is you are going to pick out a marker and you are going to draw that texture on your monster. Now I'm thinking, out of these ones, I'm trying to think. I kind of like this one that's kind of like little polka dots and little lines, and they're kind of all over my monster. So I'm gonna draw those. Now, again, like I said, you don't have to draw one from the paper. If you want to come up with your own texture, you can. It helps to think of different lines that we know. So you can look up at our line poster that's on the wall. You can draw things like zigzag lines, wavy lines, jumping lines, castle lines. And you can also add shapes. Shapes are a good way to add texture to your monster. So you can see here, I'm adding little polka dots, which are circles, but you could add squares, you could add triangles. I kind of like that this texture has both lines and shapes. All right, so you can see I really made sure to fill up my space really well. I didn't leave a lot of empty spots on my monster. I made sure to fill him up. Now, I finished with that marker. Now what you're going to do is pick out a crayon color. Now, don't pick out the same color that you did with your marker. I don't want to pick out a blue. I should pick out a different color, and I'm thinking maybe orange for my monster. Now, I'm gonna flip my monster over real quick. We all know that you can press pretty hard with your crayon, right? And make a really nice, bright color. You can also press a bit lighter with your crayon and it looks more like this, right? We are going to try to use this way of using our crayons today, which means don't press down as hard, but you can see it still doesn't look scribbly. It's not like this, right? It's not scribbly. It's just a nice even pressure without pushing down too hard. And the reason we want to do that is because if we press down too hard and we make our crayon color too dark, it will cover up our texture that we just drew with our marker. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to press not too hard. But I'm also not scribbling. I'm making sure to fill up my space all the way. And an important part to this is to kind of press down with the same amount of pressure, which means how hard you're pushing down on your crayon. Try to press down this with the same amount of pressure the whole time, because that keeps it from looking scribbly or sloppy. I'm gonna fill in my whole monster. All right, so there, I have colored in my whole monster with that lighter pressure, meaning not pushing too hard on my crayon because I don't want to cover up that texture I drew with my marker. Now, just for fun, I think I want to color some things a different color. So maybe I want his eyelids to be blue. So just those smaller details, I'm coloring with some different colors just to make my monster that much more colorful and fun. Oh my goodness, look at how cute that monster is. Okay, so now is where you get to, if we turn to the next page, think of some adjectives for our monster. Now, adjectives are words that describe something. So we can read through these a little bit here. These are character words. So like shy, cute, bossy, loud, fearless, brave, sneaky, giving, kind, strong, fast, right? These ones are color words. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink. Now my monster is orange. So maybe orange could be a adjective that I use to describe my monster. Then over here are texture words. Texture is what we were talking about when we were drawing with our markers. So textures, gooey, hairy, scaled, rough, furry, feathery, bumpy, spiky, shaggy, slimy, fuzzy, soft, squishy, stubby, clammy, mushy. You are going to get a paper like this, and you can use either a marker or a crayon, and you are going to think of 3 adjectives. There's 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3. 3 adjectives for your monster. Now you can use this paper to help you, or you can come up with your own. So I'm thinking maybe I want to choose one from each section, but you don't have to do it that way. I just think that's what I want to do. So I'm going to say my monster is shy, orange, and for my texture, let's look at my texture. What does that kind of look like? It kind of looks like it would be like bumpy or spiky, this texture that I drew. So let's say he's spiky. Now, if there's a word you don't know how to spell, just try your best. And I'm going to write my first and last name. For me, it's Miss Lumpkin. So I wrote my 3 adjectives. It's my shy, orange, spiky monster by Miss Lumpkin. Then you're going to get a glue stick. Put some glue on the back of that paper. And then you're going to flip your monster over and glue it on the back of your paper. Okay? So there's my finished monster, and if you want, you can even think of a funny name for him. And then on the back, you'll fill out my shy, orange, spiky monster. Yours will have different adjectives to describe your monster, because your monster is not going to look the same as mine. And then don't forget to write your name. I cannot wait to see your monsters, my friends.